Well, that was a bit of a thumping, wasn't it? England 6, Iran 2. And if memory serves correct, this was the highest scoring match in a World Cup since that 2014 infamous semifinal between Germany and Brazil that ended 7-1. On just day 2 of the World Cup, match number 2, we were given 8 goals. And incredibly enough, if you're like me, it still kind of feels strange that Iran still managed to come away with 2 in the back of the net here. Where to begin? Well, you have to give condolences to the number 1 Iranian goalkeeper, Ali Reza Bayramvand, who took a horrendous knocking in the first half, was bleeding out of his nose, looked like a possible concussion. Incredibly enough, he stayed on for a few more minutes, a decision that most likely should not have been allowed. He should have been substituted immediately. He had to come off. The first 35 minutes of this game, I thought Iran were very resolute and compact at the back. They held England at bay despite the chance that England looked very creative going forward. A really good look on goal for England came through Mason Mount, who just hit the side netting. The first half an hour or so, England, unsurprisingly, held the bulk of possession. We're talking about like 86-something% possession in this match. And then when Jude Bellingham scored a well-timed header in the 37th minute, it was really when the floodgates started to open, because it just thoroughly disrupted Iran's game plan. Iran's game plan was to stifle England, and when England found the breakthrough, that's when, right before the stroke of halftime, they found the back of the net 2 more times, and Iran's strategy basically just went up in smoke. And once the second half came, it was really just, for the most part, about damage control for Iran. It was really much damage control for them, considering that Bukayo Saka and then Raheem Sterling gave the Three Lions a 3-goal lead. Totally insurmountable for the most part. And really the third goal by England, I thought, was a good overall team goal. They got the ball down the field quick, and going on the break the way they did, with Kane assisting Raheem Sterling. There were question marks for Harry Kane entering this tournament, and even though he has yet to find the back of the net himself, I think playing such a prominent role today in his team, not just winning convincingly, but getting as many goal scorers on the sheet as possible, I think that's good for his confidence. And moreover, for England as a whole, getting Saka, getting Grealish on in the second half, getting these guys on the score sheet, I think, is nothing but a good thing for their confidence going forward. And I have to give credit to Gareth Southgate. His substitutions in the second half, they worked, and England did not take their foot off the gas. They kept pressing forward, and they really put on a rout here of Team Melli. You know, Southgate did say that he planned to set England up in such a way where they were going to play a more proactive style football instead of going into their shells. And, in his own words, the shackles were going to come off. And I thought England put on a really good performance. But one thing I want to note about Marcus Rashford, he scored with almost his very first touch coming on the pitch. He was substituted on, and just a matter of seconds later, found the back of the net to give England their 5th goal of the evening. One thing I will say about Iran, it's good that they did not lie down when they knew they had to push forward to get some kind of consolation, because this could be a group where goal differential proves to be important statistically. I thought Mehdi Taremi's goal was wonderful. It was one of the best goals of this match. It was a great assist by his teammate Ali Golehadze. It looked like it might have clipped the underside of the crossbar going in, much to the frustration of Jordan Pickford, who I'm sure wanted to keep a clean sheet in this game. Speaking of crossbar, we know that Harry Maguire, his effort hit the upper crossbar in the first half. He himself had to be substituted off. It looked like he took a little bit of an injury. Question marks over the penalty at the end. There was a shirt that was being pulled. Some feel it was a soft foul to give. And from England's point of view, I think the only thing you're frustrated about is the inability to keep a clean sheet here, let alone concede 2 goals to a vastly inferior Iranian side. it could have implications as far as Iran's survival for this group going ahead, because statistically speaking, no team has ever advanced from the World Cup group stages after losing their opening match by 5 goals or more. 4 goals or more has happened once. It happened with Ukraine back in 2006. Iran lost this match by 4 goals. They got a lot of ground to make up. You would hope that with the whole political situation that's going on in their country, as well as question marks over Byron Van's status for the rest of the tournament, that they're not too discouraged in the remaining 2 games, because they're still very much in this. And for England, the only blemish in this performance is the 2 unnecessary goals they gave up. Although Mehdi Taremi's goal, you have to give him credit because that was wonderfully produced. But yeah, no, I think England are looking pretty. And they come up against a U.S. team and then match day 2, which they'll be favored to come through. Iran, they'll need to get something from that match against Wales. We'll see what Kirosh has in store.